All right, start the stream.
We're starting the stream. You want to cross stream sometime? That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, only if we have to defeat the State Puff Marshmallow
honestly,
Man.
Okay. I wasn't even thinking about that. One of the main reasons why, when Emerson was born, or when Emerson was still a baby, like in the womb, and we found out what gender he was going to be, like. Mm-hmm. I would have been, trust me, if we had a girl, it would have been fine. It would have been great. But one of the reasons why I was so happy to have a boy is I knew that at some point in the next, more than likely 13 or 14 years, because I think, I would imagine at like 16 it'd be like, Dad, I'm not doing that. But at some point, we would get to go to the bathroom at the same time, and we would cross streams while doing it.
Bro, that's wrong on so many levels.
And I was like, I get to cross streams with somebody. Yeah.
No.
So
we could do that, Alex.
Yeah, we could,
if you
but
want.
it'd be kind of weird.
Oh, I don't mind. No, I'm cool with it. I don't think it's weird at all.
But it did happen. We were at some campsite or something one time, and it was the middle of the night, and I was taking him to go because we didn't want to go. I think he was like 6, and I didn't want him to go by himself. So we were in the thing, and there was only one stool, and I really had to go too. And I'm like, well, here, just go, and and then I was like, hey, let's cross streams. He's like, oh, okay. And then it was funny.
Yeah.
So there you go. Hey, this is Alex Sturgeon.
I'm Will Brinton.
And we also have in studio here for the HobbyPlex show, Aiden Olson's dad. He's off screen. He's off camera right now, but he's here. Say hello to everybody.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, y'all? So,
hello, everybody.
Hello,
everybody. With that being said, just a reminder that the HobbyPlex show is brought to you by Pivot Lending Group, and you can find them at pivotlending.com. Make sure that you mention the HobbyPlex show, and you also find Don Zoller. Or you can probably find Aiden Olson's dad, but I think Don Zoller is who they want to direct you to. And in doing so, when you mention your HobbyPlex show, you do get a little bit off of your rate, and you do get a little bit off, or it's either or. You get a little bit off your rate, or you get a little bit off, I believe it's your closing cost. They call it a lender credit. So, has anybody contacted you yet?
We have 3 people.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Seriously?
No way.
Yeah.
We did it, Will.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. I'm so happy right now. That actually makes me really happy.
Yeah.
That's great.
I believe, I'm not sure if they're all 3 pre-qualified, but yeah, absolutely. We and people are reaching out even to Aiden through the web.
Oh, that's good. Because it's Aiden Olson's dad.
Right, totally.
Yeah, you can just find Aiden Olson, and then he'll get you there.
Yeah,
that's great news. Yeah, cool. That's actually pretty awesome. So David was here to do. We've been doing these little updates towards the end of the show, and we had David in here so we could record some more current and updated information. So they'll be in the next couple shows probably. So. But and then he was like, you mind if I just like listen? And I'm like, no, dude, you just put on a headset and talk. We don't care. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, sure. What the heck?
Yeah. So, Will, what have we been doing? What have you been doing? Same old?
Right. Just riding my ruckus around. About it.
I saw that you ventured out. What was with you had some sort of garage fire? Or you saw one? Was that you or was that Andy?
Yeah, that was Andy and I over at work. There's a place across the creek over by our work that was on fire. It was kind of funny. Or not funny, but I mean, it was like, man. And I guess like the day before that, there was a literal dumpster fire. Like somebody caught a dumpster on fire.
Really? Down there?
By our work. Yeah. Around that same area. So
we had a dumpster fire at our place. We had to call the fire department.
Really?
Did I tell you that?
Huh.
I heard about that.
Yeah, there was a dumpster fire. I was actually pretty happy with that too. Mainly, I've been happy today because that's the first time in my life where I've actually gotten to appropriately call something a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I wanted to run down there and take a picture of the dumpster that was on fire, so I could send it to you like a dumpster fire. But yeah, so I kind of wonder if it was arson or something in the area, but who knows?
I think ours
So.
was like a cigarette or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean,
Who smokes at the Plex?
well, nobody smokes at the Plex, but it's just a open dumpster back there. I mean, it's not open, but it's got a lid. But I mean, we put boxes and mostly paper back there, so it's perfect kindling. If if somebody flicked a cigarette in there and it didn't know any better, and you never know.
Right.
So,
Sure.
But yeah, there you go. So you've been out in the ruckus. Have you done anything with your cars at all?
No, they're still sitting
They're
here.
still sitting there.
I need to get them ready. I just don't know what to do. like,
you can
like
come
I
up.
like.
You need to come up for a private practice session.
Yeah, I should. Well, my wife's at home all the time, and we have stuff we've been doing on our house, and it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I should come up.
Yeah, I've driven
Figure
my
it
car a
out.
few times. The track's interesting. It hasn't changed since the last run of the Techno Series, so it's only, I guess if you really look at it, the current version that we have right now is only maybe a month old, because I think the last run of the Techno Series was the 16th of March, but it's hard and dry, and even I've been putting tons of water on it and it just sucks it right down because that dirt has not been churned up like it normally does this time of year. But one of the reasons for that is because we're only allowing 10 people at a time to practice, and we've actually had a lot of takers that almost every single day we're full. So I don't want to do anything that interrupts that right now, because people are using us as a way to get away a little bit, and we can still practice safe social distancing. We've got a large enough pit area. We've got a large enough track. We really haven't seen anybody, worry about that, complain about it at least. So it's nice to see people being able to use our facility, in the way that it was intended, even though we only have to limit it to 10. But I don't want to do anything to interrupt it, so I'm not going to do anything to change it. But boy, do I have a lot of stuff to do here in a little bit.
Aiden was there yesterday, said it was good.
Yeah. The track's got a good groove in it, actually.
Isn't it?
With the doors being open
did you
and guys
try
running nitro.
Yeah. Did you try a silver compound on that?
No, we don't have any
yet?
silvers yet. Well, we do have silver rear ellipses, but we don't have any front silver anything.
Yeah.
Still, so
Unless it matches, it's pointless to try it.
I didn't want to. I just got golds on, and I burned them in, and just been using PB Blaster, and you know what? I've driven the B6 1 for the last 2 years, and I was getting ready to get a B6 2 for this spring, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna hang on to my Losi car that I just got for the carpet season a little while longer. I put a dirt setup on there, and I went out and drove it. And I think I'm going to be all right. I'm not going to say I'm like going to dominate or anything like that, because I'm not going to do that ever now. But at least I think the car's pretty good, man. I know you don't want to hear that.
Oh, I know. Run your Losi car.
But yeah, but I actually like it. It's not too bad. It jumps really well and it lands really well.
Yeah. No, I just I don't want to go change like all my shock seals and all that stuff if it's just gonna sit,
Right.
because then you just got to do it again. So I was kind of trying to wait till we were a week out or so to get at least my 2-wheel ready, because we'll probably just club race the first time that we're allowed to, right?
Yeah. So the Nebraska started the phase 1 thing, or they're going to, I guess, is what the governor's talking about. So places are going to start reopening here May 1st. A lot of these places that are closed are going to try to reopen, even though there's not really, there's some places that are straight up closed and some places that have to be closed. Hopefully those places are allowed to reopen, so like your wife can work again,
Yeah, right.
But I'm more interested in the amount of people that can gather come that time. I haven't seen that yet. And I'm sure we'll talk about it at the next big managers meeting. But if that number goes up to 50, then I think we can club race, because very, very rarely, and you never know, there's going to be this pent up
Right.
Yeah, there's gonna be
I was thinking about that.
There's gonna be this pent up urge to go out and race, I think. But if it's 50, we could at least work with that. We could say, okay, first come first serve for first 50, and then after that we gotta wait till next week.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, maybe we'll go back to we probably will have a Friday night family night and then Saturdays again, and maybe it won't be a problem. You know, but
because I mean, so what day are we planning on club racing on now? Is it going to be Saturday still, or is it going to be Fridays?
Well,
or both. I mean,
yeah,
if you had to go 50-50.
If we have the demand and we can only do 50, say, then I think it would make sense for us to go ahead and try to do both, like we've been doing. Family Friday off-road on Friday nights for the beginners and stuff, and 8 scale as well. That seems to be their night that they want to come out. And then Saturday is more for us, hardcore 10 scale crowd, like we were doing for the carpet. I think would be fine. I think that'd be appropriate, and that would work. But at some point this summer, but like I said, it's all about demand. And you know how it's gone the last couple summers. There's been a couple Saturdays where, at least in the past,
oh yeah, it was just dead.
You get nobody, and then you're like, well, why am I? For me personally, I lose out on many hours of work if we don't race. So it's just better. It would be better for us to combine it back to Friday nights for the summer, and then that way I can work in the store on Saturdays. You know.
If you had huge demand, you could almost split Saturday in half too.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be kind of weird, but you know what I'm saying? Like if you had 100 people, then you can go 50 in the morning
what's
and 50
weird?
in the afternoon.
You know what's cool about that? That's a good idea because, and again, it all comes down to demand. If this opens up and nothing changes and we just go back to what we've been doing, then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, totally.
When I was a kid and I first started racing, one of the first indoor tracks, the first indoor track I ever raced at was Scranton RC Raceway in Scranton, Kansas. It was a tiny little track, like 10 miles south of Topeka. And that's what they would do. Their Saturdays were split. They had a 9 o'clock opening time that would race. And then when that got over with, I think they had like a 3 or 4 o'clock starting time. And what my mom would do was she would drive me. We lived in Valley Falls, which was 20 miles north of Topeka. So we had to wake up at like 7 a.m. on a Saturday, load everything in. We had 3 dogs. They all got shoved into a Ford Festiva. My sister got shoved in the back. I got shoved in there. Usually I would sit in the middle. And then the 2 dogs, the bulldogs, actually had the front seat. And we would drive all the way through Topeka and all the way down to Scranton. She'd drop me off at like 9 a.m. And then she would take the dogs to obedience training and then do stuff. And then at like 8 or 9 o'clock, she would come all the way back down there and get me. So I actually got to race twice. She would, hand me some money and I'd pay for 2 races. So there was a beginner morning session and then there was a regular afternoon session.
That's what I was just kind of thinking.
No,
if you had like the B, C, D morning and then took the bump for the afternoon, then everybody qualified out in the afternoon or something like that. But basically,
Yeah, it's all about demand. We've gotten a lot of new people. Even before this was going on, this coronavirus stuff was going on, we had a lot of new people that were buying cars. A lot of Friday nighters that were getting B6s and B64s and actually a couple B74s. So I think there's going to be a lot of interest. I really do. I hope there is. But it feels like there's going to be.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be high demand, at least for 30, 60, 90 days.
So, Will, if they do this in 2-week increments, our first summer series race, I believe, is the 16th. And so if they do this in 2-week increments, then if they bump that number up even more, then I think we should be able to get a summer series in May.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But if we don't, then Tim and I have already talked about maybe making it June, July, August, September, October instead.
Okay.
So
that'd be doable.
Yeah.
You easily skip the whole series in.
Yeah. So either way, the summer series will be on, but it's just a matter of when we actually get to start and do that first round.
Yeah. No, I'm like, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm like dreading it because I haven't driven a car and I haven't driven on dirt since February, and I haven't raced carpet off-road since whenever
that
was.
I've used the opportunity to work on some stuff like I cleaned. Actually, so last week I talked about how I got my hands on another double X, and so I took the good parts of that double X and I added it to the double X that I already have, and now I have like a really good primo double X. It's not mint condition, but it's really close.
Yeah.
I dug into my stash of Losi tires, and I found some red compound Ifmar studs. So it was era specific.
That's cool.
And then I had a brand new unopened set of Proline wide ribs, whatever their number was, 92 something.
Yeah.
So I cracked those open and I mounted them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember the tire, the Evil Twin?
Yeah. Yep.
Those are really good.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good Proline tire back in the day, if I remember right.
Evil Twins were basically to compete with taper pins, right?
Right. Yeah.
I wonder why they stopped making those.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember. I remember Jamie had some he gave me.
I think it's because everybody went to the bar type tire.
Yeah.
I remember when we started, it was Goosebumps. Was there something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, 7 years ago.
Yeah, J Concepts Goosebumps.
Dude,
Yeah,
I got to
they
tell
were
you,
bumping.
if we had, if I had green compound ellipses right now, I bet they would be really good on the track. The way the track is.
Yeah, everybody says that, and I try it at times, or I've tried green compound, and it like your car is just too settled in the track. Like you can't. It's easy to drive, but it's not fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like there's guys that'll try green every once in a while. It's like, nope, indoor clay track. I'm running clay compound. Like
I would actually be up for having the entire summer, the surface being like it is right now. So then I wouldn't have to be all butthurt about when the garage doors get opened up and the track dries out a whole bunch from the practicers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what happens. I can make a brand new track. It's beautiful, and then the first time that we get a large group of guys that come out and pay for practice and run their nitro cars, and they open up all the garage doors, the track dries out immediately. It gets all cracked and weird, and then the surface is gone after that. But I know it would happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, our track when it gets dry like that, it just gets like a cap on it.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like we need to aerate the dirt so the water can soak in through everything, and it's the moisture content is like linear from the top to the bottom.
We need to find a sod roller. I think that's what they call it. I think that's what Leisure Hours used when they did that to their track.
Anybody with a sod roller,
hook us up.
Give it to us, please. Yeah.
I was actually thinking about contacting Kerry. Remember Kerry? Kremke? I talk to him every once in a while. And I was going to hit him up for some tree stumps for the crawling course. But I was also going to ask him if he had anything like that on him. You never know. He sometimes does.
That'd be sweet.
That would be pretty sweet. That'd be super sweet.
Yeah, Kerry's a good guy. He's even nicer if he has a sod roller we can use.
Yep. Okay. Well, so again, here we are. This is what is this? Week 4 or 5 of the coronavirus crackdown, preventing us from doing any sort of weekly racing.
The Rona crackdown.
Yeah. What is it?
Yeah, it's like I don't know how long it's been. It just feels like forever. So
the last run of the Techno Series was March 14th, and that was the weekend that that Thursday everything started happening, and I remember I was like in super anxiety mode because I was worried that nobody was going to come, and then everybody came. And
you
it was
lost
fine.
your anxiety weight.
Yeah, I lost my anxiety weight, but everything happened, and everybody showed up anyways, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And it's now what is this? The 20th? Is this 420?
Yeah, it's 420.
Oh, it is 420.
Nice.
So it's Hitler's birthday today, everybody.
Legit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I was just.
Don't forget to. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say last night I've been watching. I'm totally going to digress here, but I watched Money Heist on Netflix, which is pretty good. But they now have a new conspiracy.
Tom.
Have you seen this? The conspiracy one?
That's a very inside
No.
reference to Netflix.
No? Oh my god.
I don't know. Yeah, there's so many things on Netflix. I have a
It's
hard
brand
time
new.
paying
It's
attention.
just out, but it's like 20 conspiracy episodes. And the
Oh.
first one is the Hitler being, was he killed?
Oh,
Was
he went
was
to Argentina.
Yeah, the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But it's it sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, so all the tokers out there, they're always like, 420,
420.
and I always come in and like, yeah, dude, it's Hitler's birthday today.
But that's true.
It is true. It's also the anniversary of the Columbine shooting. It's also what else happened on? Was it the Oklahoma City bombing happened today, or was it yesterday? And was it Waco? That also this date's just not a very good date.
No.
Other than us being able to record the HobbyPlex show.
Our headquarters is right down from Columbine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
HQ.
HQ. So there you go. That just put a big downer on the whole show. There.
Right.
No, don't edit that out. It's funny. Don't do that. Okay, so hey, you know what I wanted to talk about today? We never got a chance to actually go over the final results from the Carpet Offroad Syndicate.
Woo.
So we had to drop a round because we couldn't race. I think it was the 21st that was supposed to be our last day. So if we just take the results up to that point, I wanted to kind of go over them and kind of put that where it stands. Except I need a calculator because I have to take 101 points off of Wes Hicks's total points. What's 590 minus 101? What is that? That's
490,
that's 490,
495.
489.
489.
489. There you go. Yeah, 489. All right. So, Will, how about this? So, 13.5 wheeler. This is where we're going to hand the awards out whenever we can get back together. Okay. So, 13.5 four-wheel drive. Wade Gehring dominated for the most part. He had looks like 3 TQs and wins, a second, and then 2 not theirs and 2 kind of low scores. But I noticed in this class specifically all winter that nobody had like perfect runs the entire season. Everybody broke out at least once or twice in this class.
Right.
It is four-wheel drive, and even though they're way tougher than they used to be, you're still got more moving parts. So
I think a lot of it is the car, like especially on that high traction surface, they get rolling so much faster. It's like everything just happens so much quicker, and it's harder to compensate for stuff.
Yeah,
but for some guys,
like me,
at least that's what my thought is.
Yeah. I crashed a lot on carpet. That's actually how I came up with the name Crash In for our big race. Was just I was crashing so much. And I thought to myself, remember, actually, you don't remember. What are you talking about? Do you know of the TV show called Laugh In?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
That's kind of what I was like.
Sock it to me, baby.
Sock it to me, baby. So that's for some reason that had popped into my mind. And then I was like, I crashed a lot. I'm like, Crash In. Oh, this is the Crash In. Let's call it that. Wade Gehring, 495 points. Corey Tannehill will get second with 491. And Jacob Poteet, who had a pretty good season in all of his classes, will get third with 490, beating Wes Hicks by 1 point after we take away the round in which he loaned his car to Kyle Gannon, and Kyle Gannon drove it and won TQ1. So there's 13.5 wheeler. Behind them, these are all the people that made all the races to be eligible. We still have the actual. So this is the Protek Carpet Offroad Syndicate, and we got to give props to A-Main Hobbies and Protek RC because they did come through and sponsor the entire series. They met our big ask that we had, and we got some giveaways. So I still have those giveaways. So what I'll probably do is just find a way to find these guys and just have like a drawing at some point for the door prizes. We have a couple Protek chargers, a couple Protek batteries, a couple servos. That were all thrown in the mix. So Wes Hicks will actually get fourth, and then it was Phil Palmer, Ronnie Wint, TJ Williams, Mark Vossler, Nick Pavel, Lee Anderson, Bryson Ramey, and Josh Shoemake. That all made.
Oh, cool.
There was 12 of them total for the season. So there's more people that raced than that, but those are the guys that made 6 out of 8, basically.
Mhm.
So good job, Wade, of destroying everybody in that one. In Stadium Truck, this was all Peevler.
Yeah, his stadium truck was rocking.
Yeah, dude, David would have a bad run, and then like you could see him visibly like upset with himself for having a bad run, and then everybody else would race, and he would still TQ. So
Yeah,
he
I
was
know.
cream of the crop in stock truck,
Mhm.
by a lot. So, and he only missed the 3 races because he was traveling a lot to all the other.
Yeah, he was going to like 3 different carpet tracks every weekend. It seemed like.
Exactly. So he had 502. Wes Hicks got second with 499. Gage Noonan third, 488. One of the little Noonans, who's not as little anymore, but he got real steady. His points were 97, 96, 98, 99, and 98. So he did awesome.
Nice.
And he beat his dad by 3 points. Derek Noonan gets fourth. TJ Williams with fifth. Quentin Martin got sixth. Joe Schnoes got a seventh. And Todd Brewer got eighth. So there's
Nice.
our first 2 out of the way. Now we're going to move on here. So expert buggy. So I was pretty happy with the turnout in both expert and independent this year. I think that worked really well. And I really like the 21.5 being an independent buggy. I just want to point that out to everybody. On the smaller track, 21.5 is perfect. On the bigger track for sportsmen, in my opinion, go back to 17.5.
Yeah,
Which is what we're doing.
probably.
At least for now. At least until next winter. We'll see. And Wade Garing, once again, with 495, but it was a little bit closer. John Kinzer with 494. And then Peevler had 493. So, it was really going to come down to this last round that we didn't get to run in this class, I think.
Yeah.
Because those guys were so close. Dan Wasick got fourth with 489, and then Tannehill was right behind him. Corey Tannehill with 488. Corey was rocking the Yokomos. Actually, so was Dan. So we had a Yokomo fourth and fifth. And then Wes Hicks with 483. Stevie got seventh. Jana Peevler in eighth. Todd Brewer ninth. Trevin Martin 10th. Jackson, who really likes carpet racing, but I bet he's going to really like dirt racing when we get back to it. He got 11th, and Rod Case was just 1 point off of him for 12th. So those guys did pretty good. An independent buggy, Poteet, he locked it up. Actually, it wouldn't have mattered. He had locked it up. He had 500 points, I believe, is how that worked out. Or no, we had to have 6. No, so it would have came down to the last round. But he had a 2-point lead. So Phil Palmer got second. Joe Schnoes got third. Then it was Derek Noonan, this time beating Gage Noonan. They were fourth and fifth. And then Roger Nemec.
Take that, little kid.
Yeah, take that. Parker got seventh. Parker Garing. TJ eighth. Bryson Ramey was ninth. And Mark Vossler was 10th. And Vossler was one of those new guys. I think they're brothers. Or maybe they're just neighbors. I can't remember. Him and, what's the other dude's name? Eric. Something. He'll come up here on the sheet, I think. There's more. Let's see. Grayson in independent buggy got 11th. David Golick was 12th, and Brian Damewood was 13th. I think they missed a few more races, though. I don't think David's been there. Yeah, David only went to 3 races, but either way.
Yeah.
And then here you go, dude. You dominated us. You cleaned us out. You destroyed us.
Yeah.
505 points for Will Brinton in mod 2-wheel drive buggy. So you get the big plaque, the 16 by 12 big plaque.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll hang that up.
Yeah, you're gonna hang that one up.
That'd be sweet.
Totally sweet. You had 101, 101, 101, 100. That 100. That was that 1 week. 101, 101, and then 99 with a TQ, which means you got third that race. That's when you were like, I won. I'm gonna start playing with my car.
Yeah, I started changing stuff like every round. Like, see what that does.
Yeah, I also got to say, because Aiden Olson's dad is here, that's also when Aiden started getting some speed, too, towards the end of this run. Like, you can see in the points, his, speed-wise, he was up there the final maybe 3 or 4 weeks, actually. Basically, it was like You
Came
had
back from Reedy.
Yeah, you had pre-Reedy race
Yeah.
Aiden Olson, and then you had post-Reedy race Aiden Olson. And for some reason, something clicked. And after the Reedy race, it was like post Aiden Olson. But also, don't forget that Aiden Olson qualified second that last Summer Series race last year, too, the last round. So he was up there.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, anyways, and he's been coming to the track a lot too.
He is. He's trying to get dialed in. He's
Yeah.
got a quiet confidence about him. A lot of people, I think, underestimate some of that stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I got second, 496. Derek Wood was 492. But here's the thing about Derek that a lot of people need to know. So basically, there's always been, and I've said this before, usually there's a trio of HobbyPlex drivers that have been historically pretty fast. And for a while there, it was me, Derek, and Will, or me, Will, and Derek, or Will, Derek, and me. It was either way. That's what was going to be.
Yeah.
In that mix,
That was
right?
your top. Yeah, that was your top 3 on any given club race.
Derek went to the Worlds in 2018, and I think
17.
Was it 17? I keep forgetting that.
Is
Derek,
that
same age.
odd years or
Odd
10,
years.
10
Okay.
scale?
So he qualified for the Worlds at the 16 Nats that we had. I believe he was the highest finisher out of all of us in two-wheel drive, right?
Yeah, he was in the C main, B main.
I think
he was in the B main.
B. Yeah, he was up there.
Yeah, he was in the B main.
So he goes to the Worlds. I think that was a goal for him. We haven't really talked. I've kind of talked with him a little bit, but that seemed to be like one of his major goals in life was to do that. And he got to go and he did it, and it's pretty awesome. I was rooting for him when I was watching him on Live RC. Dude, at the Worlds, he had some good runs going, and it just looked like there was that one where he was going to be like 12th or 13th overall for the round, and the track just screwed him at the end. The last turn of the last lap, his car flipped, and the marshal took forever to get his car. And he went from qualifying in the top 20 to qualifying like 50th or something crazy like that. So he was there for a little while. I mean, he was not a little while, but I mean, he had the speed. He was there.
Does he really know Dale Jr.? I was listening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a legit story.
That's a legit story.
I was listening, I don't know, last week, and I'm like,
no, that's a legit thing.
that's crazy, and nobody ever talks about
What's cool about it too is Derek doesn't. He doesn't gloat about it. He doesn't go, "Hey, I know Derek, I know Dale Earnhardt Jr." But if you ask him, he's like, "Yeah, I got his number right here."
But even his qualifying, I mean, not to digress, but in his the virtual IndyCar or whatever, NASCAR.
Yep. But anyways, back to what I was saying. He got kind of burned out, I think, and he started focusing on other things. He got super ripped. He's Derek's one of those people that when he sets his mind to something, it gets done, right? So I think one day it's almost like he just looked at himself and says, "I don't want to look like that anymore," and he really focused on it's something I can't do. I want to get super fit and stuff, but I love cheeseburgers way too much.
Yeah.
But Derek was like super, oh God, what's the word? I always lose my words when I'm doing this podcast. I don't know why I'm doing that. But like, he doesn't move away from anything. Like if he has to eat peanut butter the whole time, he's eating peanut butter.
Yeah, he's disciplined. I remember
disciplined. There you go. Thank you. God.
I remember watching that start at Blue Groove. He was eating peanuts across the way. He's like, "Nope, I'm tearing this up." And 4 or 5 years later.
Anyways, I'm sorry, but this is getting long. But my whole point is, half of the season he was running a Kyosho, and in my opinion, it shows. His car was never really that comfortable. It was antiquated. You know, he wasn't a sponsored driver anymore because he never renewed his contracts because the way that those contracts work, you know. It's some of them are every year, some of them are every 2 years, but he was out of racing for almost a year and a half. So he had no sponsors or anything like that. And so one day he was just like, you know what, I'm going to go up. He went upstairs and he bought a B61 and he bought a B74 after he drove your car. Yeah, after he drove your car. Yeah. And you can see it in the points. He's struggle. All of a sudden he wins the second to last round. You know? And the week before that, he whooped me, you know? And so that's pretty cool. And then we're forced to stop racing for however long this is going to be. So hopefully, you know, he'll show up at like 12:30 on a Saturday and be ready to go.
It's nice to see him come back.
No, it's great. I love Derek. And it's that competition level too.
Yeah.
CrossFit.
Him and I had been doing CrossFit on Saturdays before all this started.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
But it's just it's a competition thing too. It's nice to have Derek there because he is so focused. He is good at what he does. He's one of those. He's complete opposite of like, I don't want to use me as a reference again. Like when he changes his car, he knows why he's changing it and what he's changing it for. When I change my car, I'm just like, I'm just gonna see what this has. But he knows exactly what's going on. That's why you and him work together well when it comes to setup and stuff too, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you're the same way.
I mean,
you know, when you make a change, you know what it's going to do for the most part.
Yeah, no, I usually don't guess anymore.
When I do stuff, I just like, I'm going to change springs today. Oh, I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, that's usually what I ask you. Like, you're like, I put these on my car. I'm like, okay, why? You're like, I don't know. I'm just going to try. I'm like, okay.
I don't know. Anyways, okay, back to the so Aiden Olson got fourth, but he only finished 1 point behind Derek. And again, Aiden also, you can see the first half, you know, he's kind of hanging around fourth and third, and then the second half, you know, he got a win. So, you know, another week, you never know, he could have knocked another one out. Peevler ran some mod. He finished fifth. David Peevler, Mitchell Pavel was sixth. Brian Burnt was seventh. Rob Connor was eighth. Emerson really doesn't like racing carpet, so he only raced like 4 times and finished ninth overall.
I can't remember if it was the syndicate or the last round of our or if it was the crash in or the last round of our point series, but he was in the B main and he was driving his car so hard.
Yeah,
like Derek and I were there watching him. It's like, dude, why can't he just do this all the time? You know? Like, he was just flying.
Emerson has a thing about racing. Qualifying, he's not. I love to qualify. I like the time. I know what I have to do in 5 or 6 minutes. Emerson, not so much. But when it comes to actually racing, there's been some times where he's had just the worst day of qualifying ever, and then he smokes everybody in the B main. I mean, David and I don't know if you remember this, but there was one Summer Series race. Remember we had that front tabletop, and it kind of turned into a corkscrew, and then it kind of curled back up and came there? There was one Summer Series where he made some dime passes on people.
Yeah.
And it blew our minds. Like, you and I both looked at each other like, whoa. Where did that come from?
That kid has been that way from day one.
Yeah.
I mean, when we've raced, Aiden's raced him all the way through. And, I mean, you know, if he got up to the 99%, you know, the track grabbing him here or there, but he is on point. Kind of like Mitchell Pavel.
Yeah. Oh, please don't compare him to Mitchell. No, it's okay.
Okay.
Mod 4-wheel drive, there was only 3 of you, and it ended up being Will Mitchell and Aiden. And
I won 4-wheel too?
You won 4-wheel too, yep.
Nice.
Yeah. A lot of that is because, not a lot of it, but at least Mitchell beating Aiden is because Aiden broke his car a lot.
He did, totally. Wah, wah.
Plexpack, Roger A, the patriarch of the Nemix. He won Plexpack, but not for the sake of trying. It looks like Grant Noonan finished second, only 2 points back. And then there's a pretty big gap, but check this out. This is going to make our buddy's day. Grayson Stevie, 3rd place. He's going to get a plaque for
cool.
Plexpack.
Nice.
That kid loves racing RC cars. He's going to be a future Aiden or Emerson.
Is that the little blonde kid?
I don't think he's blonde.
Yeah.
No, he looks just like Justin.
Okay.
He's got dark hair. The blonde kid is Noonan.
Okay.
Little Noonan.
Yeah, little tiny guy.
Yeah. Yeah, they're another group that's that really likes to race RC cars too, and he's been I think that was Gage, wasn't it? Yeah, that was Gage. No, Grant. Sorry, that was Grant. Grant's the little one.
Yeah.
He's the little blonde Noonan.
Yeah, you throw him and Owen Vanderbeek together.
Yeah. Grant probably should have won Plexpack, but there was 2 rounds there where he broke like back to back while leading by like a lap, and it just kind of sucked for him. He was pretty bummed out. And then I told him that he beat his granddad because he was in the same race, and then he was fine. Josh Ryan, one of the guys that would come down from Sioux City, finished 4th. Ryan Nemec, another one of the Nemec's in there, finished 5th. Isabella McMullen finished 6th. She did pretty good. She was out there driving a Bandit with pin tires. And then Dan Noonan, Dan's the granddad, he finished 7th. And then Mason Hardesty was coming with Jonathan Kinzer. He ended up finished 8th. And then I think that's it. I think that's what we got. I just wanted to go over that. We never did actually. We actually had some race results because we never actually went over these race results. So
yeah.
I like to point that out. One of the reasons for this show was to kind of give some props to our local race scene. So I like to I like to show that off. Hang on a second. We got to get this in. Oh, man.
That's legit. I wondered if you made that up.
I've been nursing that. So I've had this cold kickstart for about an hour and a half. I went and rode my mountain bike, and I was tempted to open it up on the way here, and I'm like, nope, got to save it.
Hey, by the way, I went up to Blair to see where they're starting that mountain bike trail. That single
really?
track, yeah.
Nice. I can't wait to get up there. All right, Will, we got to talk about, have you seen the house jump video?
I saw the one where you broke the ramp.
Of the one I posted today?
Yeah. But I didn't see the other one yet.
So one of the things that I've been meaning to do, one of the reasons why I bought my house where I did, maybe I talked about this last week, is because I live on a T. So I have a long straightaway into my driveway. And as my house was being built, I thought about the Josh Cyril jump that used to be viral, or was, I mean, maybe it still is, but it's been a YouTube viral thing for a really long time. And I was like, dude, I totally...
Josh Cyril did that?
Josh Cyril did it with a nitro car. He did it with like a nitro Kyosho car. Yeah. So I wanted to do that ever since I bought my house. We bought our house in 2007. Time goes by and cars go by. I was never going to do it with one of my Racing 8 skills because if it landed on its lid or something like that, it would break it. I'd bend the chassis or something. So we got in one of these demo Outcast 6 cells from Arma at the store, and we were encouraged to try to break it. That's literally what they told us. Try to break this car. Okay. I've broken that car 4 times in the last week now. And it's not because it's not durable. It's because I'm doing 70 miles an hour and slamming into a jump that wasn't that great. So I landed funny, and I broke a front A-arm, so I replaced it with an RPM one. I landed wonky today, and I broke a shock end. So it's like a little $3 shock end. Got it fixed. The video that's on Facebook, that's going to be on YouTube tonight, I'm going to edit together part 2 of this house jump thing and post it. But I nailed the first 2, and I'm trying to do all these jumps ahead of time so that I know, so I can get some practice, but also just so I can actually test it and make sure that it's going to work. Because nothing would suck more than missing and putting a hole in my roof, or missing and putting a hole in my garage. Those 2 things, I would be sleeping not on the couch. I would probably be sleeping at the HobbyPlex if that happened. So, the car went 70 feet today, twice. We did it, and we did it earlier, and it only did 30 feet. And I was like, what is going on? That doesn't make any sense. It was super windy out, and we had this crosswind the first time we did it. And that's when I broke it. I broke the shock end. I took it home, and I'm starting to work on it, and I'm thinking to myself, and it still was slow. Like, I didn't feel very fast. It was still fast, but it didn't feel gnarly fast like it had been. Well, I don't know what happened between the time that I broke it on Saturday and the time I broke it today, but the throttle and the radio got turned all the way down.
Oh.
Yeah. So we went back to the same spot. We set it up differently, so we actually had the wind at our backs this time, which I know is kind of cheating, but I just wanted to get a judge of the height and the distance and everything. And at full speed, full send, the truck did 68 feet the first time and 70 feet the second time. And then the third time, I started a little bit further back, and this time I didn't lift at all. Before I was kind of like, you know how we do off-road jumps where it's just in
you're
green?
trying to accelerate over the jump.
Yeah, right? So the first 2 times I kind of blipped it a little bit, and that I think what that did was set the rear end. It squatted the rear end down, brought the front end up.
Preloaded it.
Preloaded a little bit, and then it jumped. Well, this time I was like, okay, I'm just going to go. I'm not going to let up. I'm going to see what happens. And at full wood, it just went straight into the jump and broke the jump. It put a giant hole into the jump. It was the funniest thing that I've seen in a long time. Totally unexpected. It's not that the jump was crappy. It's just that it's not.
I just watched it. That was crazy.
I was using the same stuff we use for the carpet jumps. What is that? That's Masonite?
Masonite?
Yeah. So I was using that. So it's kind of flexible. And I think now I know that I need to go to Home Depot. I need to stand in their ridiculous spots and lines. I need to buy a sheet of, like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, size plywood, not too thick, but not too thin, kind of in the middle.
Probably 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have to like spray it down with water and bend it a little bit as we bolt it in. And then once it dries, I think it's a lot more solid. And I think that's what we're going to use for when we do it again. So part 2 on the YouTube is going on tonight.
You should carpet the jump so it doesn't stop once it hits it. Or you should cover it with like a sheet of aluminum or something.
Well, if you use
so
the
it can
sheet of
skim
plastic.
over it.
Oh.
Or plastic, something like
plastic.
that.
It'll shore up when you screw that in. That'll totally tighten up.
Yeah. Like something something.
It'll preload you.
Yeah, but exactly. So if I build the jump with the plywood and then I put a sheet of something that's slick on top of it and hard, slick and hard on top of it.
You ain't gonna go through plastic.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm okay.
Tell that to Aiden.
Once again, this is a part of the show. We remind everybody that Alex is not an engineer. That's not what I do. So, it's also part of the show where we should probably take a moment and listen to a update from Pivot Lending and David Olson and Don Zoller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Good job. We gotta
Thanks.
we gotta intro it and then we gotta be quiet because I gotta edit it in there. Okay, so Will, so you don't have any like cool projects or nothing other than your thing that you're trying. Like I'm doing the house jump. I'm trying to do the house jump.
No, I don't have any cars that I want to get dirty on my yard or anything. I don't have any basher cars. I've like ever since I was a little kid, like I've only raced my cars. I've never played with them. Like I remember there was like when we were racing 18 scale cars, there's somebody, I don't remember who it was. And they're like, yeah, I was running this up and down my street. It's pretty fast, whatever. And they're like, do you ever just like take your car out and run it up and down your street or like jump stuff? And I was like, nope, I have never had the interest in doing that.
Yeah.
I think I did it once. I was like, man, this thing's dirty. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah. It's pretty fun to take something out that's just a basher every once in a while.
If I had a basher, I would, but I've never had the need to spend the money on something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like I kind of work out trades every once in a while, and I'll end up with a slash or something like that, and then I'll kind of put some hop ups on it, and then Emerson and I will go do dumb stuff with it out in the yard, and then I'll kind of get tired of it, and I'll realize that it's like $100 and something sitting there, and I'll put it on eBay, and then a couple months later I'll get something else, kind of the same way,
Sure.
You ever drag race with the 402 guys?
No.
That would be the only thing I would want to like bash or whatever. Like I think that'd be a good time.
It is. Aiden and I went out there years ago and sold tires and stuff, and it was pretty cool watching.
The drag racing thing, I don't personally have a lot of interest in. I really like how the cars look, but it's not my thing. Crawling is my thing.
That's pretty cool.
Crawling is my thing. That's besides my other thing. And flying too. Flying's great.
Okay, so I was at Hobbytown one time years ago, and some kid bought like a $300 car, right? This is before we really started racing. Went outside, put the battery in it, stood at the top of your parking lot, and ran it down to the track and into the water. and it went into the sewer and disappeared. I mean, it was literally put it out of the box, pulled the trigger at Hobbytown.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all.
And jammed it right down the sewer, and the kid came in because I was in the store, and he's like, "My car's in the sewer."
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Will, I have a topic, and we've got about 12, 15 minutes left. I have a topic that I thought about what I was going to ask today. I was trying to line up a guest. David's here, which is a great guest, but at some point we're going to start having
marginal.
Whatever, it's fine. At some point we're going to start having some guests come on every once in a while, and I'm trying to line them up. But this one wasn't able to come on, so I started trying to figure out some things we could talk about. What was your first RC trophy from RC? The first trophy from RC cars that you ever got?
The first trophy I ever got was for 18 scale racing in the back of the Hobbytown. No, it was it Mini? It might have been Mini Z racing. It was either 18 scale or Mini Zs. And this would have been 2002, 2003, something like that. We used to set up that RCP track in the back of the South Point, the old South Point Hobbytown. It's where Trader Joe's is now in Lincoln. Mm-hmm. And my first trophy, and I think it might have been a second or a third. I don't know if it was a winning trophy for our points series, but no, that wasn't my first trophy. Okay, do you remember those Cars X mods that Radio Shack sold that were like $50 and you could race them?
Yeah.
The Radio Shack in Lincoln raced those in the mall one time, and I won that, and I have a trophy that's like, it comes up to my waist for racing those cars.
Pretty sweet, man.
That was the first trophy that I ever won for racing RC cars. It was those. And there was like a nationals you could go to.
Yeah.
Like to qualify for that. Or like this was like a regional qualifier, and then like you could have gone to a nationals and the car, or you could have won like a Nissan NSX or something like that.
Dude.
Like an actual like legit car for racing those. And it was like 1 year. And like when that was big, and it was like when one of the Fast and the Furious movies came out, so everybody was like into it.
One of the things that ended up in our garage sale last year, because we basically cleaned out the back room and had like a garage sale, and that was my idea, I gotta say. And I'm not gonna say the number of what we made from that, but the next managers meeting, I was like to the owner, I was like, hey, how about that blankety blank that we got out of nowhere, huh? Because it was literally, I don't know, it was just everything that was in the back, right? One of the things that was in there were these knockoff X mods.
Oh, really?
They weren't actually X mods. They were called micro somethingers or whatever.
Microsizers.
There you go.
The 64th scale cars.
Yeah.
I had those too.
Yep.
I had some of those. Those
all
are
that
awesome.
All that stuff was gone. We had boxes of it upstairs. When I was upstairs trying to figure all this stuff out, there was literally unopened cases of those things. I put them all out there, and they all sold.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, those cars had like the antenna that came out like a fishing rod, and you'd like reel it back up inside the transmitter. It'd make a ratcheting
Do that again.
sound.
How did that go?
It'd like ratchet. You'd
No,
like
with
turn
your
the
hands. You were
ratchet.
doing it with your hands. How did that go?
Yeah, I did that. I went like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I pulled. Oh yeah, you pulled the antenna out. Yeah, you'd pull that antenna out like this, like 3 or 4 times. It was like really long, and then you'd ratchet it back up.
Okay. So, I'm going to tell you the first trophy that I ever got. Okay.
Okay.
The first trophy that I ever got was from the 1990, I believe it was 92 Iowa State Off-Road Championships. And okay, and that was the first trophy I ever got, and I was so excited and happy to have that trophy. Okay, it was kind of ugly, right? It was just bowling trophy, and it had a little car that wasn't an RC car on the top. You know those ones that kind of look like 50s Formula One cars or whatever they are. They have the tops on them that kind of like that. Anyways, that's what that was.
Pinewood Derby car.
Pinewood Derby car, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Iowa. It was Iowa.
Iowa. So it was 1990. It was 92 or 93. I'm trying to remember how long I was in junior high for. But this is why I got made fun of so badly for most of my school years, was because the Monday following that race, in which I got this stupid trophy, I took the trophy to school with me. We did not have any show and tell or anything like that. I just had this trophy that I was super proud of because I had never won anything before. I was not athletic.
Damn right.
And anything like that. And whenever I'd bring up to my friends, or not my friends, there's lots of people that weren't my friends, whenever I bring up, that I liked playing with RC cars. The weird thing was when like 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, it was super cool to have an RC10. Mm-hmm. In 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, it was not cool at all to have an RC10, at least at my junior high. So here I am. I believe it was 8th grade, and I'm walking around with this trophy all day. And
try somebody like slapped it out of your hand.
No, hang on. So I'm going. I have this super awesome trophy, and I'm walking up. The stairs. It was a two-layer thing. I can't remember what class I was going to. I think it was Miss Fosterstein's social studies class or whatever.
Oh yeah, Miss Fosterstein's.
Yeah, Miss Fosterstein. Yeah. But I'm walking up the stairs, and I have it kind of dangling underneath me. I had my books in one hand and my trophy in the other one. This is after lunch. And I don't remember who it was. I don't even know who it was, to be honest with you, because a lot of that stuff I blocked out of my mind just because, because.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure enough, walking upstairs, bing! Off goes the trophy down the stairs, tumbling all the way down, and it breaks into my first trophy ever was broken into. I had to glue it back together.
Sounds like a bad after-school special. Sure.
Yeah, a bad after-school special. But that's
I
not
was expecting you to be like. I was playing it like a guitar in front of this really cute girl or something.
It's not an indictment. It's not an indictment of my Norris junior high classmates at the time, because it was like 92 and 93. I have noticed something, at least I think I have, between when I was in junior high and when Emerson is in junior high now. It seems to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but maybe at Emerson school it's different. It seems to me kids are a lot nicer right now than when I was in junior high. Like, Emerson's a pretty cool kid to begin with, but he's very easily made friends with just about anybody that I've ever seen him talk to. But when I've been around group activities with junior high kids, they don't seem as scary as when I was in junior high. So I don't know if it's just a difference in whatever, but yeah. So I actually had that trophy up until I think when we moved from our first house to our new house in 2007. I think it went in the bin. Finally, I think Gretchen got rid of it.
No.
Otherwise, I still have it. I still have most of my trophies, though.
I kept all the like racing trophies that meant the most to me.
Yeah.
And there's we have a crawl space in our attic, and Aaron's like, so what's all in there? And I was like, all my trophies. She was like, do you think that we could put them downstairs somewhere? And then, because we wanted to use that space for. Oh,
are you back? There you are. You still there?
Am I? Oh, I didn't realize you lost me.
No, I did. We had some weird issue.
Oh. Okay. No, the screen never went down.
Oh. Ours
Hey,
did.
David.
Ours froze. So.
Oh.
That's
Dang.
okay. Where were we? Your crawl space.
Yeah, I only kept the trophies that meant the most to me, and so there's a whole bunch of go-kart trophies and some other stuff up there in that crawl space, and it's still a lot. It's still too many probably. And so, like, Aaron's like, so what's all in there? Like, because you have to, like, go around this area and, like, kind of wedge yourself in there to get to all of them. And I said, well, it's probably, like, a good 4 rows deep of trophies. And he was like, oh, you think that we could put those downstairs? I was like, yeah, we can put them downstairs. So
I just cleaned out a whole bunch of plaques and trophies when I did my remodel for my room, because I really wanted to do a live stream in my room I was thinking Thursdays, and that's why we do that on Thursdays now. But also, like, it was just the space wasn't being used very good. But I had a lot of plaques and a lot of trophies that were a lot of, like, mid-pack finishes that I actually did. I kind of got rid of. I threw a lot of plaques away, and I felt bad.
yeah.
And the crappy thing about it is because every single one of those is an investment.
Yeah. No, I've kept all my RC ones to my knowledge. I don't think I've ever gotten rid of any, but, like, I have, like, a whole pile. Like, I have tons of our plaques and, you know, plaques from races we went to and things like that. And it's like, it's hard to get rid of that.
It is.
It's like,
dude, it was,
you know, at the end of the day, what do you have to show for what you did?
It tore me up. It tore me up to get rid of a lot of the plaques, but I needed the space, and I had nowhere to put them. And so I kept most of the ones that were like TQ plaques, first place plaques. I get a couple second and third place finishes that are still mostly just sentimental. Like the race had some sort of meaning because I met some goal, you know, or I just had such a good time that the memory is just too strong. I don't want to get rid of it. And then I gave away a bunch of probably third, fourth, fifth, sixth, you know, all those. I gave away a bunch of those to get basically repurposed. Some of the clubs around here, the crawling clubs especially, they take old trophies and they turn them into new trophies. So it's kind of cool.
Sure.
So I was able to do that.
No, that's a good use for those, you know.
But yeah, I don't know. The first trophy is always a cool memory, I think, to try to go back and talk about. You want to hear a funny Iowa State Fair story before we go?
Well, yeah, and I still have my first go-kart racing trophy.
Yeah, when did you get that? When you were like 3?
No. I raced for a long time without ever winning a race. The first race I ever won was a trophy dash in 2003.
Oh.
But my first trophy I ever got was a 4th place finish in Junior 1 alcohol. And I think that was 2000 or 2001.
Oh.
Yeah, I raced for a long time.
That's not far away from your first RC trophy, actually.
I know. I raced for a long time with no wins, no trophies, no nothing. So, anyway, go ahead.
I was thinking about the Iowa State Fair because I knew I wanted to ask you that question, and I started thinking about that first trophy that I got, and then I started thinking about what I think was the following year. I believe it got rained out. So the Iowa State Fair race, Iowa State Championships was always at the Iowa State Fair. And or was it the other way around? Oh, no, the trophy was from the one that got rained out at the fair. And so there was a rain out date at Marbles Hobby Supply. That's where I got that from. This happened, I think it was the previous year. And the reason why I think that is because the timeline, I'm trying to go back for all the dates and everything. And I remember there was a big Traxxas group there that had the old TRX-1. And one of the cars had like a British paint job. That's how I remember it. And I think it was 91. Anyways, it was really super hot out that year. I had my my converted JRX Pro. I turned it into a JRX T, right? And I was racing stock truck at this race. And back then, you know, this was when I very first started racing. I had no tools. Like, my tools were like car tools. You know how some people are now? You know, they have like...
They come with the Ben Axis Allens and stuff.
So We also didn't know that you had to get there. You had to sign up to get a pit space to get underneath the pavilion. So I was pitting out in this giant row of cars. And one of the cool things about the State Fair race, every time it happened, was just the amount of people that would come and watch it. They had bleachers, and they were always packed with people. And they wouldn't stay for very long, because this is Iowa State Fair, so everybody's just going from, place to place, pavilion to pavilion, rides to rides, whatever.
Yeah.
But man, there was always a lot of people there. Well, that particular year had like 300 something entries, or maybe even more than that. It was crazy. And I was in like the F main of stock truck out of like A's and EF, probably like an H main, something really low. And I had gotten an All Sport. Remember those? They were Gatorade, but not Gatorade. They were made by the other company.
And like Coke's version or Pepsi's
right,
version?
Yeah, somebody's version of Gatorade that wasn't Gatorade. So I had an orange All Sport, and I had it sitting in my pit. My pit was the back of my dad's van, right? So I'm sitting there, and I had gone away for something, and then I came back, and I took a drink of the All Sport, right? I was like, and all of a sudden, I feel something moving inside of my mouth. And I'm like, and all of a sudden, the first time I've ever gotten stung by a bee was by drinking it in an All Sport, an orange All Sport. Stung me on my tongue. It hurt immensely. It hurt so bad. I remember the pain just going through me. And the thing is, my mom is scared to death of bees. Like my mom, if there was a bee in the car and we were on the interstate, my mom would stop and jump out of the car until the bee was gone, causing a huge pileup. That would have happened for sure. She actually did that once on like Dodge Street. But so I was almost scared to death of bees too because of that. I got stung. The first time I ever got stung was on my tongue at an RC race, at this Iowa State Fair race. And there was another group of dudes sitting next to me. And I remember doing this, like, the bee was stuck on my tongue. It was still there. And I was like, I had my tongue sticking out. And I'm like, like pointing at it. And the dude, I'll never forget, goes, well, flick it off. Just flick it off. And I'm like, and so then I took my finger and I'm like, and I flicked it off. And then I proceeded to the nurse's station where my tongue got huge. My tongue got huge. And so for the rest of the day at this RC car race, I talk like this because my tongue was swollen.
They have like a trophy girl and you're standing there with her and they're like interviewing you. And you're like,
my name is Alex.
I actually have my first trophy. I have it hanging there.
Nice.
That's it. That's my first. My first plaque trophy I ever won.
Trophy dash winner.
But I just put it up. Yeah, I just put it up there with all those other ones.
Man,
that's that unicorn that I drew that time that somebody was like, "Oh, these magical unicorn 100 entry Saturdays."
Yeah.
It's that unicorn driving an RC10.
Yep.
I don't know. I have to pull all those pictures.
So,
other pictures back.
One of the guys we're going to have on eventually is Mike Garrison. I tried to get him on tonight, and I wanted to talk about him and all the stuff that he does. I think he'd be a really good guest, in general. But he's also been doing our plaques for us since like 2008. And back then, I didn't want to do any trophies anymore because I thought trophies, A, they're freaking expensive, but also B, they look blah. Like there hasn't been.
They take up a lot of space.
And they take up a lot of space, but there has not been a whole lot of advancement in the way that trophies look. I should say, up until recently, I found some decent ones at Crown Trophy where we get our trophies at. But even then, just looking at your wall there, like the plaques that we make now with the stickers, I know sometimes we get some crap for the sticker thing, but they take such a better picture and they stay vibrant for so much longer, and they just look good. I just love how they look.
Yeah.
That looked great on your wall.
Yeah.
So.
And then like I have those other Trophy Dash trophies. Those are actually Trophy Dash wins in a row.
Nice.
from kart racing.
Nice.
I only saved those ones, but
nice.
The other ones got pitched.
Well, and that's another reason too that I like doing ribbons for the plexers, because I still actually have all of my ribbons that I got from that Scranton RC racetrack way back in like 91.
Yeah,
you know, they mean something to me. They're on one of my toolboxes. So we were actually out of ribbons for a couple weeks there, but when we start racing again, that's one thing that I do want to get back to. I'm going to order a whole bunch more first place ribbons. So
cool. You're thinking the first weekend of May we'll be back, huh?
I think if the restrictions get lifted to 50, I think we'll be able to race. I think we'll get back to it. I think if the restrictions are only like 25, that's going to be tough to do that legally.
I don't know how you could do it.
Yeah, it'd be hard.
The problem is is it 50 entries and
no, it's 50 people.
50. Right? No, I mean that's it. Like, you know, you'll have people, you know, the whole family comes or
so I
whatever.
thought about
it's
this.
Like,
Gary O'Brien from Oklahoma actually made a post about something. I think his state has started to change things too, and I think he's either gonna try to race or he's having like a practice night with a certain amount of people. But he basically posted, no family, no girlfriends, no nothing. Just bring yourself, bring whomever's gonna race, and that's it. Nobody else come, because it's just gonna cause a problem. And I think that'll be, if it depends on the number.
No, that's smart.
Yeah, but it depends on the number. But even with 50, I think we'd have to say, look, just, you know, it's kind of like all these people that we're bringing their entire family, you know, of like 6 kids and a cousin and an uncle that lives with them, all to Walmart at the same time to go shopping. That's not the point of social distancing. So, but yeah, we're going to get back to it. I have no doubt about that. It's coming soon. This first month of this thing we're doing, for me, it feels like it's gone by pretty fast. I think one of the reasons why is because we've been so busy at the store. But still. Yeah,
no, that's good. I don't even know what to do with my car. Like, I haven't driven it since February. My dirt 2-wheel. And I just took the shocks off of it while we were talking.
Yeah.
And I got it sitting here. But I mean, I could race it, but it's like I don't know where we're at with setup or anything to try. I feel like I'm 2 months behind everybody else, maybe more.
Nah, nobody else has been running either. I don't. The driving I've been doing has not been good practice. You know, there's a difference between just driving a car.
That's it. Like, I don't want to go. Yeah, that's why I haven't gone up there, because it's like, am I going to get anything out of this other than a day at the track? Which a day at the track's nice. But it's like, am I going to really be able to work on my car and tune on it? Probably not, because there isn't enough people to run the track in.
I think if I really wanted to run my 8-scale badly, I think I could learn something from practicing right now.
8-scale's different.
Yeah. But not my 10-scale car. I'm just doing it because I want to drive it. That's all.
Do you have those Protek the grooved thrush bearings for the B6 up there?
Yes, we do.
You do? I need to pick some of those up.
Okay. Yeah, we do.
So I hear that those are good.
Yeah.
So all right. I need to just go through my car and freshen it up. I haven't done that because it's like, lucky, like, you're just gonna let it sit. You know?
Lucky for you, it only takes 5 screws to get to the differential.
Yeah, I know, right? Got that going for me. No, I meant like my shocks and stuff like that. It's like, you know, when you let them sit, the O-rings soak in oil, you know, for a month or whatever. It's like you're just gonna have to do it again, even though you didn't use it.
All right, we better go. That's
all right.
I'm looking over the time. That's an hour and 12 minutes. We had that little minute and a half break in there. That should make.
Yeah, we have stuff to cut out.
Yeah, that should equal out to a pretty good show.
Before I forget, breaking RC news. Jackson wanted me to bring this up. Apparently, he is no longer an Associated fanboy because he has a Losi 22T now. He wanted me to make that public and make that announcement. I guess you're calling him a Associated fanboy because that's all he runs. He's Associated stuff.
He's had a Losi car in the past. It's just for the carpet season.
I don't know. He said that you're calling him an Associated fanboy. I said if Alex calls you that, just tell him that Will runs Associated cars and he's beating Alex. So he's gonna run what's fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's supposed to be a joke. You know,
I know.
You laugh
It
at
is.
him.
No, I'm
This thing
laughing.
on?
It's all good. I'm laughing. All right, we got to go.
Yeah, he would have been mad at me if I forgot to say that.
Okay. So whatever. Yeah, it's fine. You can catch me. Hopefully, Wednesday we'll have some What's New Wednesday stuff. If not, we might try to do it on Thursday. And then, of course, we have the HobbyPlex After Hours on Thursday. And Will's going to be at work.
Yeah, I'll be at work.
And then he's going to be at home. And then he's going to be on a scooter.
Home. Yeah, you can check me on my scooter.
Yeah.
I rode my scooter to work today. It was cold this morning, but it was perfect.
You should have a YouTube GoPro scooter page where you just
You think so?
Yeah, you just do footage from your commutes or whatever you're doing.
I should get a GoPro. Do you have a GoPro I can have?
No, Emerson's not letting me get his GoPro. He's being a jerk.
If anybody out there has an old GoPro they don't use that I could have,
yeah,
let me have it.
Maybe we'll start a Patreon page so we can raise some money so we can get Will a GoPro.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like your GoPro.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Will. Right. Thanks for tuning in with us. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Every Monday.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, man.
Yeah, hopefully you see me at the track next month. Or
I know.
In May.
Yep.
That'd be cool. That'd be pretty rad. That'd be rad as hell. All right.
All right.
See you later.
See ya. Bye.
Yep. Bye.